Beowulf. Translated by Lesslie Hall. Book 9. Unferth taunts Beowulf. Unferth spoke up, Ecglaf his son, who sat at the feet of the Lord of the Scyldings, opened the jousting. The journey of Beowulf, seafarer doughty, gave sorrow to Unferth, and greatest chagrin too, for granted he never that any man else on earth should attain to gain under heaven more glory than he. Art thou that Beowulf with Breca did struggle, on the wide sea currents at swimming contended, where to humour your pride the ocean ye tried, from vainest vaunting adventured your bodies in care of the waters, and no one was able, nor life nor loath one, in the least to dissuade you your difficult voyage. Then ye ventured a-swimming, where your arms outstretching, the streams did ye cover, the mereways measured, mixing and stirring them, glided the ocean. Angry the waves were with the weltering of winter. In the water's possession ye toiled for a 7 night. He at swimming outdid thee, in strength excelled thee. Then early at morning, on the Heathereme's shore, the holm currents tossed him. Sought he thenceward the home of his fathers, beloved of his liegemen, the land of the Brondings, the peace castle pleasant, where a people he wielded had borough and jewels. The pledge that he made thee, the son of Beanston, hath soothly accomplished. Then I ween thou wilt find thee less fortunate issue, though ever triumphant in onset of battle, a grim grappling, if Grendel thou darest, for the space of a night nearby to wait for. Beowulf answered, offspring of Ecgtheow, my good friend Unferth, sure freely and wildly thou fuddled with beer of Breca hast spoken, hast told of his journey. A fact I allege it, that greater strength in the waters I had then, ills in the ocean than any man else had. We made agreement as the merest of striplings, promised each other, both of us then were yonkers in years, that we yet would adventure out on the ocean. It all we accomplished. While swimming the sea floods, sword blade unscabbarded, boldly we brandished our bodies expected to shield from the sharks. He sure was unable to swim on the waters further than I could, more swift on the waves, nor would I from him go. Then we 2 companions stayed in the ocean 5 nights together, till the currents did part us. The weltering waters, weathers the bleakest, the nethermost night, and the north wind whistled, fierce in our faces. Fell were the billows. The mere fish's mood was mightily ruffled, and there against foemen my firm-knotted corselet, hand-jointed, hardy, help did afford me. My battle-sark braided, brilliantly gilded, lay on my bosom. To the bottom then dragged me a hateful fiend-scather, seized me and held me, grim in his grapple. 'Twas granted me nathless to pierce the monster with the point of my weapon. My obedient blade, battle off carried the mighty mere creature by means of my hand-blow. Book 10. Beowulf silences Unferth. Glee is high. So ill-meaning enemies often did cause me sorrow the sorest. I served them in quittance with my dear-loved sword, as in sooth it was fitting. They missed the pleasure of feasting abundantly, ill-doers evil, of eating my body, of surrounding the banquet deep in the ocean. But wounded with edges, early at morning, they were stretched a-high on the strand of the ocean, put to sleep with the sword, that sea-going travellers no longer thereafter were hindered from sailing the foam-dashing currents. Came a light from the east, God's beautiful beacon. The billows subsided, that well I could see the nesses projecting, the blustering crags. Weird often saveth the undoomed hero, if doughty his valour. But me did it fortune to fell with my weapon 9 of the knickers. Of night struggle harder, 'neath dome of the heaven, heard I but rarely, nor of wight more woeful in the waves of the ocean, yet I 'scaped with my life the grip of the monsters, weary from travel. Then the waters bear me to the land of the Finns, the flood with the current, the weltering waves. Not a word hath been told me of deeds so daring done by thee, Unferth, and of sword terror none. Never hath Breca at the play of the battle, nor either of you two, feat so fearless performed with weapons, glinting and gleaming. I utter no boasting, though with cold-blooded cruelty thou killest thy brothers, thy nearest of kin, thou needs must in hell get direful damnation, though doughty thy wisdom. I tell thee in earnest, offspring of Ecglaf, never had Grendel such numberless horrors, the direful demon, done to thy liege lord, harrying in Heorot. If thy heart were as sturdy, thy mood as ferocious as thou dost describe them. He hath found out fully that the fierce-burning hatred, the edge-battle eager of all of your kindred, of the victory's Scyldings, need little dismay him. Oaths he exacteth, not any he spares of the folk of the Danemen, but fighteth with pleasure, killeth and feasteth, no contest expecteth from spear Danish people. But the prowess and valour of the earls of the Geatmen early shall venture to give him a grapple. He shall go who is able bravely to banquet, when the bright light of morning, which the second day bringeth, the sun in its ether robes, or children of men shines from the southward. Then the grey-haired war-famed giver of treasure was blithesome and joyous. The bright Danish ruler expected assistance. The people's protector heard from Beowulf his bold resolution. There was laughter of heroes, loud was the clatter, the words were winsome. Wealhtheow advanced then, consort of Hrothgar, of courtesy mindful, gold-decked saluted the men in the building, and the freeborn woman the beaker presented to the lord of the kingdom, first of the East Danes. Bade him be blithesome when beer was a-flowing. Lief to his liegemen, he lustily tasted of the banquet and beaker, battle-famed ruler. The helmingish lady then graciously circled mid all the liegemen, lesser and greater, treasure cups tendered, till time was afforded, that the decorous mooded, diademed folk-queen might bear to Beowulf the bumper o'errunning. She greeted the Geat prince, God did she thank, most wise in her words, that her wish was accomplished, that in any of earlmen she ever should look for solace in sorrow. He accepted the beaker, battle-bold warrior, at Wealhtheow's giving. Then equipped for combat, quoth he in measures, Beowulf spake, offspring of Ecgtheow, I purposed in spirit when I mounted the ocean, when I boarded my boat with a band of my liegemen, I would work to the fullest the will of your people, or in foes' clutches fastened, fall in the battle. Deeds I shall do of daring and prowess, or the last of my life days live in this mead hall. These words to the lady were welcome and pleasing, the boast of the Geatman. With gold trappings broidered went the freeborn folk queen, her fond lord to sit by. Then again as of yore was heard in the building courtly discussion, conquerors shouting. Heroes were happy till Halfdine's son would go to his slumber to seek for refreshing. For the horrid hell monster in the hall building knew he a fight was determined. Since the light of the sun they no longer could see, and lowering darkness o'er all had descended, and dark under heaven shadowy shapes came shying around them. The liegemen all rose then, one saluted the other, Hrothgar, Beowulf, in rhythmical measures, wishing him well, and the wassail hall giving to his care and keeping. Quoth he departing, Not to any one else have I ever entrusted, but thee and thee only, the hall of the Danemen. Since high I could heave my hand and my buckler, take thou in charge now the noblest of houses. Be mindful of honour, exhibiting prowess, watch 'gainst the foeman. Thou shalt want no enjoyments, survive thou safely adventure so glorious.